Want to see how a brand is created? Well, in this series I'm taking you behind the scenes as I create a brand completely from scratch. And in today's episode we're going to be looking at creating the content for our website. So in the last episode we worked on designing that website, getting it all set up, putting a bit of basic content in there to get it going, and now we're going to fill it up with the rest of the content. So that means working on a photo shoot, getting all the brand photos done, and also working on the copy and getting all the copy written out for the site. So we want to basically create all that content, get it all filled up and finish off this website. So the first thing that I want to be working on is the photo shoot. Now for this particular brand I've got quite a lot of products and I want to do some model shoots too where I'm in the scene and I'm modeling the product. So to make that easy, what I'm doing instead of just running back and forth to the camera trying to take lots of photos is for each product I'm just setting the camera on video, doing lots of poses for a few minutes, and then what I'm going to do is take it to the computer and screenshot the best poses and edit them from there. So that's how I'm going to do it in a way that makes it a lot quicker and easier. Now I only recommend that doing it this method if you're just going to be using it for web. When it comes to photos that you want to use more long term in your brand, that you may want to eventually print or use for things where you might need higher quality, I'd really highly recommend taking actual photos for them. But because these are product photos and it's only going to be fairly short term because we're just going to have those products, once they sell out we don't need those photos anymore, and it's just going to be on my website and also on social media, doing it this method with video is going to work just fine and it's going to make the process so much quicker. Now when it comes to doing a photo shoot like this, what I do first is I do some research. So I create a mood board just capturing the mood and feel that I want this photo shoot to have, and then also doing research on poses. Because I'm doing poses for this one, I want to do a bit of research to get some ideas about the kind of poses I might be able to try so that I've got some ideas going into it. Now the person who's taught me a lot when it comes to doing your own brand photos is Sandra Chow. So if you want to learn more about taking your own photos, doing your own brand photo shoots, I highly recommend checking her out, and I'll leave a link in the description so you can go check her out if it's something you're interested in. Alright, so today I'm going to be doing a product photo shoot. So to do that, instead of just taking photos where I'm running back and forth to the camera, checking the poses, what I want, and trying lots of things, or even using a remote, what I'm doing that I've sort of been doing for the last year that I find really good for this sort of thing is recording a video, and then I'll take that video onto my computer, blow it up as big as the screen, and go through and basically just screenshot the best poses. Now I went and did a bit of a stock take and went through how many different products do I need to take images of, and there was 44 different products I need to take images of. So I really need a method that's going to be quick and easy so I can create quality images quickly where I'm not spending hours trying to get these images when there's a lot of products. Now I did a lot of products for this range because being my launch range, I wanted to test out a lot of different things. So I want to see what people respond to best, what products go well, what fabrics people love, all that sort of thing. So that's why I've sort of created a big launch range, so that it's a way of me also testing the waters and seeing what people snap up first, what's really popular, what people will go, oh no, I missed out on, and what things just sit in the shop for ages and struggle to sell. It's really going to help me with future ranges and seeing what happens with that. And then it means in future ranges I can make a smaller collection because I have a better idea of what people really like. So I've got my hair and makeup done, nails done, and we're going to go take a bit of a video photo shoot. So I'll take you behind the scenes on how I do that. Basically we're going to go outside to do that because it's winter at the moment, so the natural light indoors isn't as good at the moment. Today's a pretty nice sunny day, so maybe late afternoon would get some decent sun indoors, but I'd rather get the absolute best natural light I can, especially this time of year, so I'd rather go outside for that. So the basic setup is just going to be using sheets and fabric, putting it up as a backdrop, putting it up strategically in a way so we get a bit of light texture, so a little bit of light shining through in different spots, so it adds a bit of visual texture in that way. And so the setup from behind the scenes is probably going to look a little bit messy and a bit strange, but the end product photos that we're going to end up with are going to look really beautiful. So I'll take you behind the scenes and show you how I do that. Alright, so this is my very low-tech setup. So I've basically just put some fabric and a sheet over my kid's cubby house, and as you can see we've got this nice little bit of light that comes in here which can add some real nice visual texture, also the texture of the actual sheet itself, so it just adds a bit of niceness to the background so it's not just plain white. So from a distance Looks pretty crazy, but when we zoom in just for a photo, it's going to look pretty nice and pretty cool. So let's get set up. Okay, so today we're going to be doing a photo shoot indoors. So you saw I did an outdoor shoot, now I'm doing an indoor shoot. So for this one, I've set it up with the fabric again, and I've also put it near a window so we've got light coming in from the side. So our last shoot we had light coming from the back, this time we've got light coming from the side, so it just adds a little bit of a different look so we can vary up our photos a bit and have a bit of a different look in a way. So then also, because my hair isn't super long at this stage, still fairly short, and I want to do some shots with the scrunchies, and so I want a look where I've got longer hair, and I also want to vary it up. So because it's only me and I want to show how these things can look with people with different kinds of hair, what I've got is some wigs. So I've got a long blonde wig, so it's got the sort of ombre effect with brown to blonde, so it sort of will suit me a bit better because it's not just this stark change to blonde. And then I've also got this one which is just a ponytail, so that's basically just to give my hair an extension, make it longer, and be able to put a scrunchie in it and really show it off really beautifully with a nice long ponytail. So I've got to get myself set up for that, and we'll take some photos. Now, as well as modeling shots, we also want to take some overhead flat lays as well because we want some just basic product shots. So I'll show you how I do that as well. So basically I just put a background down and then put the camera overhead, and we're just taking some real basic shots just of the image overhead, a few close-up ones, a full showing the whole thing, just so we have plenty of images to work with so that people can see exactly what they're getting. Once I finish my photo shoot, then I edit my photos in Lightroom. So I take them into Lightroom and start adjusting it to look the way I want. So I'm mostly adjusting the brightness, making it really nice and bright and crisp, and getting the look that I want, and editing out any issues with it, if there's any little dots or marks or things on the screen that I don't want there, editing those out and just getting the images really lovely, ready to use for the website. I also want to make sure that I'm saving them down in size so they're appropriate for web. We don't want them too big, too oversized, because that will slow the website down. So we also want to save copies that are appropriate for web as well. When it comes to taking photos for your brand, it's really important to go back to those brand foundations and think about your brand's feeling and vibe and what you want to communicate through those imagery. So how do you want to make people feel when they see your images? So go back to all those brand foundations that we worked on at the start, that brand strategy, and think about how you can bring that through in your photography. Now this brand, I want it to feel confident, playful and fun. So I want images that feel fun and playful, creative, confident, and I also want them to feel fairly soft and light. I don't want anything that's too heavy or too childish. I just want something that feels sophisticated but playful and joyful. So the next thing we're working on is the copy. So when it comes to copywriting, I'm working on those more bigger pieces of text, like writing your about page and things like that. It's important to really get clear on your tone of voice and how you want your brand to sound. Now, as I've been going through this, I've gone back to an old course that I had from Marie Forleo called The Copy Cure, and I've got my brand in my mind, going back through that to try and work on my copy and really get it as good as I can, because copywriting is not one of my strong points. I'm more of a visual person, but I know the basics of the fact that I want it to sound a certain way. I want it to align with my branding, but trying to, write really good copy, I'm also looking to experts to try and help me with that as well. So obviously when it comes to any stage of your branding, you always want to have that basic foundation of having those brand foundations and everything flows off that. But if you need extra help with different elements like the photo shoot, the copywriting, creating a logo, things like that, look to experts that can help you take it that step further. You might be able to come up with the initial concepts and the feel and the tone and vibe and all those sort of things, but you might need that extra help through either courses or hiring someone to make sure that the end result is really professional and really allowing your brand to shine the best it can. So a few things about the about page, things that I want to include in here are things like the creation story. So basically it's important to talk about how your brand started. What was that beginning point? Because it helps make your brand relatable and it helps people to understand it. It doesn't feel like it just came out of nowhere. When you've got a creation story, basically talking about how the idea came about, how the brand started up, it helps people connect with it more and it makes it a bit more real and something more tangible, because they feel like they can understand, oh, so this is how it all got started. It started from this small thing, it built up, and they can feel the story and think about why you decided to do it and why it felt important to you and all those sort of things, and it just helps people connect with the brand by writing that story out. And then I'm also diving more into what the brand is all about, talking about the brand's values and things like that, so that people can really understand what this brand is about, and then they'll know, is this a brand that I'm interested in supporting? Is this for me? Is this the kind of thing that I'm interested in? And then it's not just all about just the products and just looking visually at the products and, oh, do I like that? But is this a brand that I can really get behind? Is this a brand that I'm going to love and I want to be a loyal customer and keep buying from it? So that's where you can really, take a brand up a notch, where it's not just about nice products that someone just sees and go, oh, that's nice, I might buy that. But they buy into the actual brand itself and become loyal customers. So now we have all the content. Here is the finished website. So I hope you enjoyed seeing how I put together all the content for the website and pulling it all together to make the final thing. Now it's ready for launch, and in the next few videos we're going to be working on preparing for that launch phase. So we're going to be looking at setting up social media and also setting up promotional graphics and visuals so that we can start to put it out there in the world. So planning out how we're launching it, creating all the visuals and branded graphics. So first we'll be setting up social media, basically branding that, making sure that's all on brand and aligned, preparing for launch, and creating a visual marketing campaign so we can create a branded campaign that gets the word out and helps us launch this brand and then grow it. So if you want to keep watching this series, make sure you've subscribed to this channel so you'll know exactly when the next video comes, and I'll see you next time.